All right. Uh, Hello. Thank you for coming at this ridiculously early time in the morning at 11:30. Um, I am Kaz. We're talking about physical drive-by downloads, and I'll explain what that means in just a second. Uh, oh, actually, I'm gonna do this before I put up my company slide. Oh, the battery's dead. No, it's not. Never mind. I'm good. All right. Whoever was at the club last night, fuck you, cause today's gonna suck for me. So. All right, now I can talk about the company thing. All right, so name is Kyle Osborn. I'm a pen tester at AppSec Consulting. We're a tiny little not web shop. We're a tiny little pen testing shop. We do the, general web app, pen network, a little bit of physical. We have a PCI sort of side of stuff in the U.S. and we're a tiny little place. We have fun breaking shit, and it's fun. Uh, okay, so jump right into it. Android user ecosystem. Yeah, so uh, basically, there's a huge focus on sucking. It's pretty much like, hey, I'm going to make myself as insecure as possible. Let's do it. So there's a big focus on rooting phones. I mean, everybody wants to have root on their phones, right? Because you can do fun stuff. You can install apps. You can customize shit. You can in the U.S., we have the carriers, the ISP or not ISPs, the cellular carriers don't let you tether without paying an extra amount of money, which is ridiculous. It's like an extra $30 just to tether your phone to. Man, I gotta stop exhaling. Extra like $30 to tether your phone to your laptop so you can use your phone's internet. Like it's ridiculous fees. But when you get root, you're just like, fuck them. I can tether all I want. No big deal. So a lot of people tether. There's a lot of untested ROMs. So there are a lot of people running around and being like, oh, hey, look, CyanogenMod is cool. Like, somebody put tons of stuff in CyanogenMod and it does a bunch of neat things. Oh, by the way, here's the unofficial port of CyanogenMod. Install it on your random phone that nobody's ever heard of. Uh, a lot of APKs being passed around. So APKs are basically the Android package files for applications. So again in the U.S. we have Verizon who sucks and they don't like Google Wallet, which I know you guys don't have Google Wallet. Sucks for you guys, but I love Google Wallet being in the U.S. Uh, so Verizon basically says you can't have Google Wallet because of some sort of BS insecurity thing. When in reality, they just don't want you having specific applications because they know either one, you can tether with them, or two, they have a better product. I'm sorry, better product to give you, so they prevent you from using it. So a bunch of people are like, "Oh yeah, here's the unofficial version of Google Wallet," and who? Uh, it's unofficial. Who the hell knows? What's in there. Uh, and APKs are signed by the developer. You sign them to install them, and then when you install them, it's all like, oh yeah, by the way, hey, this is an un. You actually have to go into settings and allow set a policy to allow packages to be side loaded, and but nobody knows how to verify that they are signed by the developer, and it's just bad security habits. Like we're all here about security. We all, actually, I'm gonna go into that a little bit with Android, but yeah. Anyway, shitty security habits. All right. I did a little poll, a little survey. Only 500 users or so, but of those 500 users, and so this was off Reddit. I'm sure some of you guys know Reddit. Um, there were about 500 users that answered this on the subreddit Android, or Android subreddit, and 70% of them were rooted because everybody loves being rooted. 56% had ADB enabled, and ADB is we're basically gonna rape ADB today. ADB is the Android debug bridge. It's pretty much awesome, and you can do lots of cool things. And it's also pretty shitty because it makes you super insecure. 76 don't disable a custom ROM, so that's, or I'm sorry, custom recovery. So that's a Clockwork mod or TWRP, or that's anything that you use to reboot your phone to flash stuff. And then 80, almost 90% don't use encryption. Like, who does that? How do you not use encryption? But Android didn't support encryption until like 3.2 and then 4.0, and a bunch of people are still stuck on 2.3. It kind of sucks. Um, 41% use slide to unlock, so they don't use a password. You just boop, your phone's open, no big deal. And then of the surveyed, 22 use the gesture unlock, and the gesture thing. It's all like, hey, oh, this is an iPhone, so ignore that for a second. They're like, hey, look, you swiped your fingers like this, so I'm gonna do the same thing, and now your phone's unlocked. Um, and then 40% used some sort of security software, antivirus, or remote tracking and wiping, whatever. So let's conduct our own survey. Who has Android here? Hands up. Okay. This is much better. I was in Miami at another conference. I won't mention the name. But only 3 people in the audience of this side had Android, and that should give you an idea of what type of conference that was. Um, Anyway, so of those people that have Android, who's rooted? Who has root? Who has? All right, a few of you. Oh man, you should all root. Rooting is the way to go. Um, okay, do you guys have any sort of custom recover or custom ROM like CyanogenMod or AOKP? Just one, two. Jeez, the three, four. What the fuck's wrong with you all? Um, all right, so now you guys and some of the other guys. Who has ADB enabled? Like, if you installed CyanogenMod or AOKP, and you didn't go in and disable it, you still have ADB enabled. And I hope by the end of the talk you'll go through and be like, oh, I'm gonna disable that now. Yeah. All right, real quick, Android security. So there are like browser exploits, application exploits. There were a few kernel exploits. Mempo Dipper is one of the exploits that heavily affected a lot of phones and applications. Um, and it's an awesome like if you're a pen tester and you find a server that has I don't remember what kernel version is, but has of that kernel version, and you're like, oh shit, Mempo Dipper works. It's instant root. It's great. ADB exploits, so race conditions or whatever else, and then of course there are exploits created by vendors. A little bit ago. Samsung decided that they were going to install Keys, which is their phone management tool, onto a bunch of people's phones or something like that, and it created a root exploit. So it was, useful for the users, I guess, but it made them super insecure, which kind of sucks, I guess. Okay, I'm a little bit behind, so I'm gonna rush through some of this stuff. So our goals. I'm not. Nothing here is super awesome, elite, whatever. I'm not releasing like any crazy exploits or anything. I basically just took a bunch of shit and threw it together and called it cool because it is cool. So we want, real quick, we want the sensitive stuff. We want your passwords. We want your emails. We want your text messages. We want your photos because you all know what sort of photos are on phones, right? And text messages and anything else we can get. And then we want to maintain persistence. We want to go, all right, so I stole all your sensitive information. Now I'm gonna pop something on there so I don't ever have to worry about it again, and all that stuff just gets sent to me. That's what we want. So we want a rootkit or some sort of evil APK, and we want to do this really, really fast. We want to do this as fast as possible. And basically, we want to get past this. I'm sure you all at least recognize that screen. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Oh, and I also foobarred my test account, so we're actually going to do this with my real account, which sucks. Anyway, okay, so we're going to talk about the talk is physical drive-by download. So we're going to talk a little bit about physical access to a device. Everybody knows you access a laptop. You guys know what to do with a laptop. Like when you get a laptop or a computer and you have physical access, you boot up something to either crack the password of Windows or change the password of Windows. You use some sort of recovery software. You do some forensic stuff. You pull sensitive information off. We're going to talk a little bit about that with Android. Um, okay, so the secure bootloader. So basically, I imagine you all know what a bootloader is. It's kind of makes sense. It loads shit and it starts at boot. The secure bootloader is basically on Android phones. When you have a secure bootloader, that basically means, oh yeah, you can't boot anything that isn't signed by whoever, right? Um, and then you have a stock recovery partition. So the recovery partition is basically used, and we'll go over this. Recovery partition is basically used for encrypting things or over-the-air updates or whatever. And by stock, it just if you don't change it, it's pretty secure. Like there's not a whole lot of things you can do with it when it's a stock bootloader. It just doesn't do anything. I'm sorry, stock recovery. It just doesn't do anything. Um, of course, I don't need to iterate. Encryption prevents access to the data when it's cold booted. Keyguard is basically the interface that you see when you have your PIN or password or gesture unlock, and then ADB. And ADB is the one we're really gonna kind of kick a little bit because we like it. All right, so all those things work together: encryption, stock partition, bootloader, whatever. One of those failures basically means that your shit's owned. All right, so again, secure bootloader. Not all devices have a locked bootloader. Um, Real quick, I don't. You guys probably didn't get that. You guys know the HP touchpad? Remember when HP was all like, "Oh, we have a tablet and we're cool now," and then they sucked, so they just fire saled all their tablets for really, really cheap, and they discontinued WebOS. Did any of you grab one of those tablets, the HP touchpad? Yeah, I didn't think so. So I grabbed like two of them, and then I sold one, or I traded one for an iPad or something. Um, I had one though for a while, and I still kind of play with it every once in a while. But the HP touchpad does not have a secured bootloader. That means that I can plug it into the USB, reboot the device, and be like, "Oh hey, run this initram fs plus this kernel," and it's like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll run this. Whoever the hell you are, I don't really care. There's no authentication. I'll just go ahead and run this kernel for you, no problem." The HP touchpad does not have a secured bootloader, which it means that I will never ever use it as a regular tablet because I will never stick my stuff on there because that shit's insecure. Like I don't want to. No, that's not cool. So some bootloaders can be unlocked, like the Galaxy Nexus. So the Galaxy Nexus can be unlocked in just a few seconds. The only thing about that is that once the Galaxy Nexus is unlocked, it wipes the partition, so it wipes the data partition immediately. So even if it is accessed, it immediately wipes all your data when someone tries to unlock it. However, like the HP touchpad is unsecure, and there are other devices which don't have the immediate lock immediate wipe, and then all those factors prevent cold booting, whatever. Like I said, recovery partition, for encryption and applying over-the-air updates and whatever system management shit. Encryption, again, rebooting can't access your shit because it's all encrypted. No big deal. It does, however, use the keyguard pin and pass, and keyguard allows for like a four-digit pin and a really small password also. So you could conceivably crack it pretty easily, assuming that they have a small password. Uh, so this is keyguard. It's the whole gesture thing. It prevents immediate access. Face unlock. Does anybody here use face unlock on their Android? Did you guys see in 4.1, or I think it was Samsung or whatever, introduced it where you had to blink? They were all like, "Oh yeah, to prevent secure access or whatever," and you have to. So you don't point a picture at it. You actually have to blink a few times, so it knows that you're actually not a static picture. But some guy got smart, and he was all like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna import my photo to Microsoft Paint. I'm gonna take some of my skin from my face, and then I'm gonna put it over my eyes, and then I'm gonna go back and forth between the pictures so it looks like I'm blinking." And that unlocked face unlock. Yeah, it's just a novelty. It doesn't whatever. Like I said earlier, pattern smudges. So you're like, "Oh yeah, oh look, on your locked your phone, no big deal." I know weak password and pin is allowed. So if you do the gesture unlock, there are about 390,000 possible gestures. Uh, there are 9 different points on it. Real quick, I came to that because, okay, so you can't do, I can't, oh man, I need 2 laser pointers. So you can't do 1 to 3 unless you go through 2 first, right? unless you go 213. So it was really easy to get a lot of that stuff out, and you can't repeat numbers. So it basically limits it to 390,000. And 390,000 seems like a lot, but we're gonna talk about that in a second. And then it stores a hash in read only or root readable file only or system user, which you can't generally access. ADB off, doesn't provide USB debugging, can't connect on phone, whatever. Physical vectors, bootloader, run unlock code, non-stock recovery partition. I'm gonna reboot your phone into recovery, and then I'm gonna start stealing stuff off of it because it's non-stock and it is insecure. Lack of encryption, whatever. ADB enabled, you pretty much win everything. All right, so it's not all about the phone. The phone is great, lots of data, passwords, text messages, photos, emails, whatever. But it's not the best. But we really want your Google account, and I mentioned that before. We're gonna steal everything. God, I don't even care about this. Unlock bootloader, wipe phone, whatever. May wipe the phone, requires a reboot. It's slow. It takes a few seconds, whatever. If it's already unlocked, great. You just reboot it. You're set. Um, Same thing with custom recovery. If you have a custom recovery, just reboot it. You're set. You can just start stealing stuff off of it. No big deal. All right. So what I really care about is being really, really fast. Like, all right, I don't know anything about last night because I don't remember anything about last night. However, if any of you remember last night, and any of you have left your bar sitting at a table, or left your bar sitting at, or I'm sorry, left your phone sitting at a table, or left your phone sitting at a bar, accidentally, and then you've run back and be like, oh shit, I should like secure, put this in my pocket so no one starts looking through my nasty photos or something. Uh, Basically, I want that. Like, I want to be sitting at a bar. I want someone to walk away. I just want to be able to plug something into their phone and be like, boop, now I own everything, right? Um, and that's where this thing comes in. So USB OTG, it's a USB on-the-go cable. And this basically is, it turns your phone into a USB host, which is awesome because now I can plug things into it and it's functional as some sort of host device. But this little cable is awesome, but it requires another cable and it sucks. So the guys at Hack Five, if you don't know Hack Five, they're like a video security hacker podcast thing. Um, they've got a lot of silly stuff on there, but they were kind enough to make me this. So this little cable right here is actually host mode built into the cable to USB. Nickerson mentioned this at his talk yesterday, and he called it a crossover cable. That is actually pretty much what it is. Like it's so simple to make. This thing costs about 70 cents on Amazon in the US. It's cheap as hell. Like it's less than $1. This thing, same sort of thing. Like we ordered them from China at like 70 cents a cable. They're just easy. It's just a few wires crossed over and the pins are different or something. No big deal. This is awesome because now I can just pretty much be like, oh yeah, when I'm at the bar, I don't have to bring my laptop to the bar. I can just do this, right? Because I don't know how it is here, but if you brought your bar, or I'm sorry, if you brought your laptop to the bar or a club, people would be a little weirded out by you. They probably wouldn't sit next to you, not because they thought you were, gonna hack them. They would probably just be like, this guy's fucking weird. I don't want to be next to this guy. He's got his laptop at a bar. So that's what this cable facilitates, right? We want to be able to walk up to someone at a bar without your laptop, be able to be boop and run everything on there. So that's where P2P phone to phone ADB comes in. So I mentioned ADB earlier, and that's basically Android Debug Bridge, and that allows you a lot of access to the device. Um, and I'm calling it a framework, built a framework that basically runs on your phone. Right now it's in a terminal, and there's actually a GUI where you just plug in someone's phone, you run a few commands, and you're like, oh, look at that. I want to steal all of your camera photos. Boop, no big deal. Or, hey, I want to steal all of your Google information. So I want to steal all of your offline emails. I want to steal all of your Google Voice data. I want to steal whatever. No big deal. It's awesome. Right. So PDB real quick. So you can steal tons of data, steal camera photos, steal the Google authentication tokens, steal WPA supplicant .conf and then VPN keys and other stuff. And everybody, WPA supplicant stores all of the Wi-Fi passwords in clear text. So now you can hop on their Wi-Fi and continue to own other things on their device. You can completely disable keyguard, which is really easy. And the Android API, super nice. It's 3 lines of code. So like, oh yeah, I'm declaring the keyguard unlock class. I'm initiating the class. Please unlock the screen for me. No big deal. It's 3 lines of code. And then install custom APKs and you could do. I haven't actually done this. That's a lie. I haven't done that. But basically, auto configure proxies or VPNs on the phone. Ooh, someone VPN messaged me. All right. So detects root. God, this is old. I already installed some auto root stuff. So basically, from my phone, I can root a few other phones. And there's no, Zerg Rush and the other one and Mempo Dipper. It's all just runs on Linux and they're all just shell shit or whatever. So there's no reason I can't cross compile them to my phone or whatever and get it all working. So you could walk around with a phone that roots other phones. So even if they have ADB enabled or something, or you enable ADB for them and you don't have root, so you have a limited access, you can just plug it in and be like, oh, look at that, your phone's rooted now, which means that I have root on your phone. That's awesome. Uh, Cracks the gesture pattern. So the gesture pattern, like I mentioned, is only 390,000 options. Well, fucking 390,000 lines in a file along with their hash. It's only a 20 megabyte file. So I just, like I said, calculated all the potential gestures and then I just made the equivalent hashes along them. So you don't actually have to crack anything. You just grep the file for that hash and then it responds with the code. Um, and then I would like to make it. I'm working on this. I'm lazy as hell. I think I mentioned that. Eventual full automation. So I just want you to be able to you know, before you plug it into a phone, be like, oh yeah, I want you to steal their Google data, root their phone, or root their phone, steal their Google data, payload their phone. So I want you to install a rootkit or whatever, and that's good. And then when it plugs in, it'll be like, oh hey, look, I detected a phone, so I'm gonna do all these things now without any sort of user interaction. So it's fun. Uh, I made an app called AntiGuard. So KeyGuard, AntiGuard, right? It's a cute little name. Um, it installs basically you plug it in, it installs, and it unlocks the phone. It's fucking awesome. Um, like I said, it's that 3 lines of code, which the Android API is all like, oh, this is a good idea to have installed, so we can disable the screen lock for you. And then it has a few little quick launch, whatever. Um, ADB enabled, you're fucked. Like, no big deal. Like, if you have ever left your phone, if your phone has ever lost, went out of your site while you have ADB enabled, you should just change all your passwords and consider yourself screwed because potentially this could have happened. Um, all right, I don't really care about this stuff. I just want to do the demos. Oh, I'm way fast right now. I'm sorry. Really, what it is I'm really hungover or drunk still, so I just want to get this done with. All right, so ADB enabled. So when ADB enabled, ADB is enabled, and okay, so I get some flack from people going, oh yeah, we won't who runs around with ADB enabled on their phone, right? It's like a developer thing. Like most people don't do that. Well, pretty much anybody that has ever installed a custom ROM has it enabled. Anybody that's a developer has it enabled. A lot of people have it enabled, right? And in reality, I want to target those people. Like I want to be like, oh hey, you're a tech guy. You're also the tech guy at this company that I want to own. So I'm gonna follow you to the bar, and then I'm gonna own your phone at the bar, when you're not watching. So basically, grab all the things. application shit, so browser passwords, whatever, SMS, Wi-Fi password, system hash, whatever. And then install a rootkit, and oh yeah, synced Google account. All right. So again, ADB, no root. So sometimes you have ADB enabled, but you don't have root. Or in some instances, when you try to gain root, it'll prompt you. So for the people who have rooted with their Android phones, you've probably used the application superuser.apk or supersu.apk. And basically what that does is it prompts you to grant root to the application that's running it. So there is some sort of authentication there that prevent random apps from getting root access. So sometimes the phone will be like, oh, hey, look, you're trying to request root. Well, I'm gonna pop up this little thing, and you're gonna have to prompt it. Well, if keyguard is enabled, if the phone is locked, you can't grant access to root. So even though you're not root, you can install APKs, and if you can install APKs, you can force unlock the screen. So you force unlock the screen, and you go, yes, please grant root permission to my script that I'm gonna own you with. Uh, if you don't have a root, you can't access most of the slash data stuff, most of the interesting things at least. But you can grab photos. You can grab some data on the SD card. You can install APKs, like I said, and fun little stuff. Install CA certificates. So if you want to man in the middle of them or install a proxy, you can just start doing all that. And then through the Android API, the Android API is great. Like you know, all the stuff in slash data, which is where all your application data is stored, most of that is not readable by you. So you need to either be that application that owns that data, or you need to be the root user to access that data. And if you're not root, you're screwed. However, the Android API gives you access to that data. So if you install your APK that exports text messages and contacts and whatever, you can just be like, oh yeah, hit a button. All of your text messages are being backed up through the Android API, and now you have their text messages without having root. And then, like I mentioned a few times, the synced Google account. So your account information is stored in data system accounts, and it's only readable by the system user. It's only readable by root. Um, but it has these really, really nice little tokens in there that are basically authentication tokens, and they are your Google account. I'm gonna show you why in just a second. So they're just it's a little SQLite database with query or whatever. So when you do that, oh fuck this. Who wants to do demos? This is much more fun. My laptop is about to die. I'm sorry. I'm gonna plug it in real quick. Oh man. So we have Wi-Fi access, right? I'm not gonna get owned over Wi-Fi, am I? Oh, whatever. I probably will. I know some guy was man in the middling it yesterday. What a dick. I'm just fucking with you. I don't give a shit. um, However, you are gonna see me modify some stuff because since I did this a few days ago at another conference that, like I mentioned, was I can't say this on video, but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use my own Google account. So this is gonna suck for me, but oh well. I think that's my Google account. All right. Uh, let's see. Yahoo. There you go. All right, so we're gonna do Gmail, HTTPS. That's good. Not logged in. Actually, while we're at this, I think yeah, okay, cool. Isn't dash K the one to ignore HTTP? Whatever, I don't give a shit. Again, I don't usually do this. I'm usually plugged into the cellular network, but I don't have that here. and I trust the cellular network more than I trust this network. So let me disable all the stuff that ignores security. All right. So I have a device right here, right? Let's fix this aspect ratio. So this is the Galaxy Nexus. Or I'm sorry, not the Galaxy Nexus. God, I'm so. This is the. Well, I mean, at least I figured it out before we started, right? Oh, apparently my camera doesn't work anymore. Oh man, this will suck if I have to use the front-facing camera. I tried that once. Not fun. There we go. Okay, cool. We're set. We're good. A++ wood camera again. No, I'm not gonna record you people. Actually, at the conference that I was at, I kept on picking up my tablet, and then the whole audience was behind. And every time I picked it up, everybody started laughing, and I'm like, "Why are you all laughing?" And the guys in the front row were like, It didn't matter though, because that conference was shitty. I mean, can you cut that out of the video? They probably want me back because I'm awesome. Just kidding. All right, so you have your little tablet right here, right? And we're gonna use this, and this has tons of stuff right there. Whatever. Um, then we have my app. So we're gonna go ahead and message. There we go. So this is PWADB. It's just a bunch of shell scripts. Like I'm serious. It's the only binaries I included are a few things to just make some people happy because some people didn't read the prerequisites. So I just threw in a few binaries so I would stop getting emails from people saying, "I can't run this. Why can't I run this?" And anyway, so first of all, one of the prerequisite things was so this used to not work against stock devices because there's some stupid BS with P2P or with ADB that prevents you from doing a few things. So basically, I throw a BusyBox onto the device, and BusyBox isn't like a toolkit of just like core utilities, whatever, and I need some of that. So I throw on BusyBox, which is great. And since my device is rooted, it goes, "Oh, check that out. We're root. This is awesome. Like, hell yeah. This is great. So, what do you want to do?" Hey, well, I mean, again, I'll go ahead and check. We'll recheck if we're root. And it's all like, "Oh, yeah, so not natively root. We'll continue escalating privileges with the SU binary." That's awesome. Um, and devices don't have root. It'll be like, "Oh, yeah, limited functionality, whatever. That sucks." Um, so while we're here, like, let's just steal all of your application data. Oh yeah, calculating the size of. Oh wow, unexpected operator. I think I broke it yesterday. Uh, Calculating the size of the shared preferences and databases folder. That's awesome. All of them. I can pull down all of your application data right now, and that means that I own you pretty much. Oh, damn it! I broke it last night. I was on a plane. I didn't get any sleep at all, and I decided that I should start trying to code some stuff. That's a bad idea. Um, so again, app data, but maybe I don't want all your app data because some of your app you may have some, stupid apps. I don't care. I don't want your, you know, Angry Birds say game saves. I just want your I want the good stuff. So we're gonna steal your Google application data, and it's like, oh, yo dog, you know, there's your com.google dot asterisk shared preferences and databases. So this is your offline God damn it. This is your offline email. This is your I know it's like not a thing here, but do you need to use Google Voice? Some of you might use it just because you can contact the people, whatever. Okay, Google Voice is awesome. I'm sorry that you don't have it all. You get all the good Google stuff, like the stuff that is linked to your account. Um, and then steal camera photos because everybody knows what type of photos people take with their phone. Um, Steal accounts, which we're gonna do in just a little bit, and then let's just fucking disable keyguard. So here's my little thing. I don't I don't even know my password. Oh man, I forgot my password. Fuck that shit. We're just gonna be like, no, I don't. Oh, oops, wrong one. Oh, that would suck. Sorry, mistyped. Oh, let's just fucking do this thing. Yeah. Woo! Completely ignore whatever. And the cool thing is, that's all. That's all API stuff. Like that's in the documentation. Like, oh hey, by the way, if you want to disable the interface, do this thing, and then this, these 3 lines of code. It's awesome. And from there you can just be like, oh yeah, I just want to, I want to read your text messages now, or even better, I'm gonna start, going installing and configuring proxies or whatever. But if you're installing shit already, you probably don't need to do that. And the nice thing about that is you just run it again, and it just locks your screen again. Once you uninstall it, there's like a few lines in the log data that gets wiped when you reboot your phone, but otherwise it's totally unnoticeable. This is awesome. I do have some root functionality in there, so if you're running like 4.0 to 4.1.1 or something, and like running a Galaxy Nexus or the Nexus 7 or whatever, it can root devices. Again, like I said, the only thing preventing me from throwing on other roots is that I'm really lazy. So, oh well. Um, and I don't have an unlock pattern right now. But if you have an unlock pattern, so remember how I said there are only 390,000? That's a really small amount in reality. So what I do is you just go in and you grep the hash file against a file that I have, and it's all like, oh yeah, by the way, here's your unlock code. So the unlock code, I'm sorry, here's your gesture pattern. The gesture pattern isn't salted. The all this stuff, the pin and the password or they have a salt. So it's really big. It's like 8 bytes or something. So that makes it pretty infeasible, even if they have a pretty small. Oh, actually, I take that back. It's yeah, pretty infeasible, even if they have a small password, to generate, a list or a rainbow table or whatever. And that's why we have salts. But the gesturing pattern, actually, I'm gonna enable it right now because that shit's cool. And then I gotta disable it after. One of my own things that I'm gonna show you some mitigation tactics in a little bit is I always forget to oh well, what encryption policy? I must have got drunk last night and encrypted this or something. Um, one of the mitigation things I'm going to show you is how to like just I forget to disable ADB all the time because I'm always doing Android shit. I use it. It's like a security or a research platform for me, and it's oh, I gotta get some water. And it's just fun all around. I use it so much. I do a little bit of development on it, so I always forget to disable ADB. Well, again, ADB is hard to remember to disable. Don't I? 10 minutes left. All right, so I just enabled the gesturing pattern. I don't even, what is it? I don't even know. I wasn't even paying attention when I made it. So we're just gonna be like, oh yeah, get the gesturing pattern, please. Oh, look at that. Gesturing pattern is zero. Oh, oop, 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Oh God, that's a hard gesturing pattern. You could never crack that because that's like really long, right? No, 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Oh, look at that. There's your gesture pattern. Really easy. Yeah, uh it's kind of stupid, really. I don't know why they don't salt it like the password and the pin. Like it seems like that would be a smart thing to do, but they just throw the SHA-1 hash into a file without any salt and call it good. I'm not sure why. All right, now now I'm going to screw myself over. So we're gonna go ahead and hit number 5, steal accounts. This sucks because this is gonna reset all of my passwords across all my devices, so I'm gonna have to go back and do it all. Um, oh shit, you know what? Actually, I can't even do that on that account. I just realized. Uh, Yeah, I apologize for not doing this earlier. I hate every single one of you that was at the party last night. I blame you all as to why I need to do this. Um, what am I trying to do right now? Oh, no. Oh, unroar. Untar. Jesus Christ. I'm. I give up. I don't even. Yeah, I'm gonna do this because otherwise you're gonna get my secret tokens. Secret why? I don't feel comfortable with that, so I'm gonna do this for a second. No offense, at all, but I don't trust any of you, and you know why. All right, let's do my. Which one? We'll do my one email that has my Twitter account shit, because that's conference friendly. All right, so that is number 8. I'm sorry. So let's 8. Oh, we're good. All right, I have a few seconds left, so I don't need to do this anymore. Same as other windows. Ignore the video. Huh? Okay. So basically, this is the quick script. It's stupid simple or whatever. So actually, I haven't tested this because someone edited it and was all like, "Yo, dog, I fixed it for you." So hopefully this works. We're good. Um, I think we do that. So we're gonna grab and this is just limited. This is actually more of like a proof of concept than it is like an actual attack script because it basically is gonna cool you cool show you cool shit. Whatever. Fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm going home. So we want to throw it in loot. Not, yeah. Generate off. So I think this is the most recent one, right? Yeah. Oop, fuck. Oh, fuck. There we go. I fucked up on something, so like I said, proof of concept file. This isn't anything, right? So, okay. So what this does is I showed you this slide earlier. Real quick. Oh yeah. Oh dude, I'm way behind. I'm really drunk still. Google account. Do this shit. Well, this shit's right there, and you make this request, and suddenly you get this giant fucking URL. What this giant URL is basically a single sign-on token. So the single sign-on token is awesome because fucking love single sign-on. It's great. Whatever. Click this shit. You're all like, yo dog, what does this do? What is this? I don't even. Oh, check that out! It just logged me to my account without entering a password. That's awesome. So that's great. Like, okay, but say you really fucking hate the guy that you're doing this with, right? And you just want to be like, okay, so you have their token, and then you just can kind of browse around their account. Really, oh, damn it, everything's fucking. I don't even. What is this language? God damn it. Sorry, I just fucking with you. You're like, all right, cool. I'm like in an account somewhere, whatever. This is great. Now I can just access their account over and over again. Like I can steal everything. I can go to Gmail. I can, do whatever the hell I want. Not a big deal. So yeah, let's look at that. I'm on Gmail. You're not gonna read my emails though, because like I said, it's gonna fuck me over after. Um, but what if you really want to just kind of piss off the guy? Like, what if you want to, maybe you want to piss him off, maybe you want to ruin him, maybe you want to do whatever. We're just gonna, I really just want to take over his account. So let's change his password. Oh man, current password? I don't know what his password is because I have his token. That's no fun. But oh hey, check it out. All right. Oh, this is my phone number. If you wanna. Oh, that's my real phone number. Damn it. Um. This is like a backup account, so I don't even care. Uh, so you're all like, cool. I'm just gonna, change his phone number, so then I can do that. Well, or I'm gonna change his recovery address, so I can do that. Again, it's a backup account for AOL or whatever. Please don't hack me. Um, so I'm just gonna use his recovery address or change his email address. That's awesome. So then I could just change it to me and do that. Or hey, look at a security question. Check that out. I can edit his security question. Remember that for me, cause okay. Actually, no, don't remember that. Anybody that has their laptop out, like you, sir, in the front row, I'm gonna have to ask you to stop what you're doing. Oh, your account information has been fucking updated. Sweet. So I'm gonna go to. Oh, I can't do that. I'm gonna go to. We're gonna open up a new browser window, and we're going to go to Gmail in the new browser window. Oh, look at whatever. Don't know your password. Cool. Can't access this account. Oh, I don't even. What is my password? I don't know. I don't know your password. So I'm gonna go to reset. Okay, I can get a text messages. I can change the phone number. I can change the email address. Or you know, what's your security question? That's nice, right? And sh- um, yeah. So based on that token, you can pretty much, and that's one of the things that I iterate, like I try to tell people when they're like, oh, whatever Android phone, or my phone only has a little bit of information on it. No, like I get your whole Google account, like I get everything you are done with. Like I take over your Google account, whatever, no big deal, right? Uh, so one of the fun things. Oh shit, my time is up. Okay, we're gonna run through this real quick. I'm sorry. Like I said, fuck you all for the last night. Um, So one of the fun things is this completely bypasses two-factor authentication. It doesn't matter. You can make application-specific passwords because this is an application-specific password. This is a token. Shit doesn't matter. You win. Own your shit. Getting Google account without root, basically HTTPS proxy plus doing a few other things. CA cert. You can basically just steal the same token. I mean, this request was taken from opening up the browser and hitting auto log into your Gmail account. So it's dumb simple to grab it if you have access or a proxy or whatever. Uh, let's see what else. If you have their Google account and you add it to your phone with the password or with the whatever, it restores all of your Wi-Fi passwords from the cloud in clear text. So you can grab all their Wi-Fi passwords from the cloud and add it to your device, which is nice. And a few other shit that's restored. Mention not root. There's a root exploit in there or whatever. There are more that can be added. And it's only been whatever minorly tested. I did the demo because I'm dumb. So other attack vectors. There's a guy named Lay or Riverside that do this called juice jacking at DEF CON. Basically, they made this little blue box where they have charge ports and people plug in their phone to charge their phone, and then it shows their device ID on there. So I was like, hey, why don't I just fucking throw some logic in there to own your shit? And that's cool. Uh, Another attack vector though, dude, computers are small nowadays and they can be run off of batteries. So why don't I just throw it in a little energizer pack, right? And rip out one of the cells and replace the cell with the tiny little computer. That's awesome. You guys like video games? Fuck. Hey, look at this. Here's a Xbox controller. You hear if you plug this into your phone, you can play video games on your phone with the Xbox controller. Oh, by the way, I kind of replaced the internals of the Xbox controller with that tiny computer. It's awesome. Future shit doesn't matter. This guy, if you guys don't like Shell or whatever, but if you have root on your phone, there's a guy named Cornholio that everybody laughs at that. I don't know why. That it's just a native app, whatever. Cool. You hit buttons and it does cool shit. Basically, he took all my shit and threw it inside of an app. It's awesome. Check it out. It's open source. Mitigation. Stop fucking things. Like don't root your phone. It's dumb. I'm just joking. It's awesome. like root your phone. That's great. Disable ADB when you're done, whatever. Lock bootloader if you can. Flash stock recovery image. Enable encryption. And then I don't know if any of you recognize this, but glue your phone to your hand. If any of you recognize that, it's a reboot. It's a small little video where they own an iPhone with a Windows exploit. It's great. Um, Mitigation, ADBD secure, which some guy, BusyBox package manager, it's open source. Basically, when you lock your screen, it locks the phone, and when you unlock your screen, wow, that was fucking retarded. When you lock the screen, it turns off ADB. When you unlock the screen, it turns on ADB, which is kind of a cool thing, right? So it's useful. Uh, that's over. I'm good. Thank you all. All the code is up at my GitHub, Osborn, cause.io, the cause on Twitter, my company and shit, whatever. Done. Thank you. Oh, one fun thing, if you use ADB, I'm sorry, if you use P2P ADB, XDA developers called P2P, if I can find it, XDA developers, they called P2P ADB oh, fuck this shit, a malicious toolkit forwarded by ADBD Secure. So they wrote an article about how I'm an evil hacker and how ADBD, if you want to be cool, a malicious toolkit by me was found in the wild by XDA developers. Anyway, that's all I got. Goodbye. Don't hack my shit, please.